Namaskar. First of all, I would like to thank the organizers at Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose Government College, Sambalpur, Odisha, India, for organizing this international conference and inviting me as a speaker to speak on Reimagining Bharatvarsha, reflections on society, culture and religion. So the first thing we need to understand or approach is Bharatvarsha itself. Whenever we say Bharatvarsha, then we come to other similar concepts, similar but different concepts. Whenever we say Bharat and whenever we say Bharatvarsha, they do have different meanings. And when we translate that, and when speakers of English, maybe in India, in other countries, when they use the term India, then it gives entirely different meaning. Whereas the term India has got geopolitical meaning, referring to a nation state or state nation, let us say sovereign state nation. Bharat also has been used synonymous to that. But whenever we say Bharatvarsha, then Bharatvarsha is a geocultural entity. We find references to Bharatvarsha in various ancient texts, and many scholars argue that it is due to Bharatgan the name Bharatvarsha became popular. For others, some great kings named Bharat were also there. Whatever would be the etymology of the word Bharatvarsha, it represents a very wide geographical area or civilization, cultural, let us say, entity rooted to the Vedic and post-Vedic traditions of knowledge and culture. So, whenever we say India, then there is a particular country which got independence in 1947. But whenever we say Bharatvarsha, then at least thousands of years of history comes there. And as I emphasized earlier, it is a geocultural entity and it has been so since time immemorial. So whenever we say Bharatvarsha, then Bharatvarsha would represent present day India, present day Nepal, even present day Tibet, present day Bhutan, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Afghanistan and so on. And the Bharatvarshiya culture, if we see, then we can see it extended up to let us say Indonesia, Cambodia, Vietnam, Thailand, Myanmar and so on. So whenever we use the word Bharatvarsha, then we shall have distinction between Bharatvarsha, Bharat, India, and there is yet another concept, Akhanda Bharat. Whenever we say Akhanda Bharat, then it has political meaning. But whenever we say Bharatvarsha, it has cultural meaning, civilizational meaning, and people within India also shall be aware of that fact. Sometimes what happens is people staying in India may not know the perspective of the people from, let us say, Nepal or Tibet or Bhutan or even Pakistan and Bangladesh and Afghanistan. Even Sri Lanka is also within that domain. So the broader Bharatvarsha would encompass several modern state nations, but they all are united by the similar civilizational consciousness. So, especially in Hindu tradition, whenever we do our dharmic, let us say, rituals, then we shall start with the sankalpa. And in Nepal as well, whenever we do sankalpa, then we mention Bharatvarsha, Bharatkhande, like that. And if anybody would be in Afghanistan like following Hinduism, then he or she also would have that sankalpa. So this broad base of application Bharatvarsha, this terminology carries, we shall be aware of that. And the contemporary relevance of Bharatvarsha has gained momentum. So we can see even within India, in Nepal, and in other countries as well, there is a kind of reawakening towards the root. So the Vedic root, and obviously we shall mention Buddhism, Jainism, even we can see Kirat and Gond traditions. So there are other traditions as well. Whenever we talk of them, then we can see a kind of reawakening, and that reawakening certainly demands redefining, rediscovering, revisiting the very concept of Bharatvarsha. So the very concept of Bharatvarsha, if we refrain making it political, if we refrain from limiting it to particular geopolitical state, then the term Bharatvarsha can have very wider meaning. So we had similar concept like Jambudvip also is a very old concept found in Hindu texts, Buddhist texts as well as Jaina texts. So if we use these terminologies, obviously Bharatvarsha is the most popular one, then we can have some ways to unite the large number of people residing in these countries. So rediscovering, reimagining Bharatvarsha is in a way rediscovering our common heritage and common civilization. So whenever we say reimagining, then it obviously considers a source which is at very distant past, and whenever we feel reimagining or rediscovering something, then we consider that was great, that was great to such an extent that we want to revisit that, we want to relive that experience, and we want to, let us say, renew that. It is in a way a dynamic affair. So what is there in the root, that is also important. What is original, that is also important. And equally important is its contemporary relevance. So contemporary ground realities also shall be considered. So people and governments from Nepal and India and other countries, they can have a common ground through which we can, let us say, rediscover our glorious past. But the minimum requirement is we shall agree on the fact that there was a glorious past that we want to rediscover. And very fortunately, I can see, especially if I talk about India and Nepal, there is a kind of, let us say, renewed wave towards the root. In case of India as well, from I'm not becoming political. I don't have any political comment what is happening within India. But when I see from Nepal, then I can see people have rediscovered their culture. People have started, let us say, valuing the civilization. People have started understanding the value of the ancient texts, including Vedas, Upanishads, and so on. So this reawakening will certainly require national and let us say civilizational heroes discovered. So generally the modern state emphasizes on political leaders, especially those who are in power. But whenever we talk about the civilization, then the national heroes or the civilizational heroes would be from the domain of, let us say, philosophy, arts, culture, literature, and so on. So the thinkers, they become very important. So this is how, like various our philosophers who gave Sardarshana, even let us say Buddha, Mahavira, and other great thinkers, they become more relevant for us. because whenever we try to find out the common ground, then the present day realities may have let us say some conflicting areas as well. But whenever we refrain from just having the strategic relationship between the nations, and we emphasize on the civilization, we emphasize on the cultural heritage, we emphasize on solidarity, then we find that there is this reimagining. This reimagination has contemporary relevance for people of Nepal and India and even from other countries as well. So when we say, in fact, we can see the reflection of this reimagination is already working. The reawakening I mentioned, that can be seen in the domain of society, that can be seen in the domain of culture, that can be seen in the domain of religion as well. So it may be viewed in different ways within India, but like rebuilding or reclaiming the Ram Janmabhoomi and having a grand temple there. When I see from Nepal, then it's also rediscovery of our let us say pride. So such reimagination, such rediscovery, such rootedness to the source will reflect on society. Like we can have Ganga. If we see Ganga Arati, when it started, then it was followed by such Aratis in several places. Currently, we can see hundreds of river banks full of people involved in this kind of Arati. So, such activities, such actions, such collaborations, they reflect the common cultural consciousness. So, there is cultural identity consciousness. The challenge is there is always, let us say, danger of identity politics. Identity politics divides, whereas cultural identity, it always unites. And reimagination of Bharatvarsha is a crucial factor for establishing this cultural identity. And that may happen through, let us say, literature, like Indian writing in English. Also, I can see it is also reflecting this reimagination. I am not telling that everybody has started now praising our civilization and trying to think good things about it. There are still people who would like to be more critical than appreciative. But they were ruling earlier the scenario of, even in case of Nepal, it is true, and even in case of India, it was true. The dominance was by the people who were not very appreciative to, let us say, our heritage. But currently, the popular discourse, the mass media, let us say, the literature, everywhere, at least we can see people who are taking pride in, let us say, being Bharatvarshiya, taking pride in being Hindu or Buddhist or Jaina, they have started speaking loudly. And this, let us say, loud speech, this loud voice representing our, let us say, common civilization, culture, our root, our, let us say, Vedic and other wisdoms, the great teachings of our rishis and, let us say, Tirthankaras, Buddhas, yogis, acharyas, gurus, that will certainly enrich our, let us say, societies even in contemporary time. So whenever I see a new wave of, let us say, rediscovering Hinduism, rediscovering Buddhism, rediscovering Jainism, and even, let us say, the huge crowd going to, let us say, once abandoned places, even in Kashmir, when I see from Nepal, I can see the changes happening there. And after, let us say, decades or maybe even centuries of gap, now people are trying to reconnect to the past. Even in Pakistan, I found many people talking about Sindhi pride, the history of Sindhu Desh, and such activities, such happenings, such awakening all represent reimagination of Bharatvarsha. And that whenever I see, I can assess that it will be increasing. It will be increasing through films, the Bollywood films, a decade or 2 decades ago, and the Bollywood films, at least some of them, they have tried to give the voice to the voiceless people. Like Kashmiri Hindus, they were put voiceless for so many years, but very recently they also have got their voices, and this is the power of this reimagining Indianness. So this cultural identity consciousness, this kind of awakening, this kind of reconnecting with the civilization is a welcome phenomenon whenever I see. So I think with this, I again thank the organizers for organizing such international conference on reimagining Indianness, or I say Bharatvarsha, to make it more broader, and its reflection on society, culture and religion. They have done a commendable job. I thank them, and I thank all the audiences for listening me so carefully. Thank you. Namaskar. Whenever we say reawakening, then the first and foremost requirement is to consider that we had a great civilization. If we did not have any such civilization, then there will be no issue of, let us say, reimagining that being reawakening. If we were a new civilization or civilization in the making, then this issue would not come. The reality is we had a great civilization. Let us not limit this to India only. The whole Bharatvarsha, a geocultural entity, has a great civilization, and it is not such civilization which is found in the, let us say, museums or books or ruins only. No, it's a living civilization. Yes, in between what happened, especially in case of present day India, Pakistan, Afghanistan, even Bangladesh, the foreign invaders came, they invaded, they ruled for so many years. In case of Nepal, that did not happen directly. Okay, so Nepal remained independent forever. But through education, through, let us say, economic system, through let us say, public discourse, the exogenous paradigm ruled. But very recently, people have started rethinking with the advent of this social media. Even the voiceless people could get voice. Even the last person can express his or her voice through the social media. And this revolution has contributed for mainstreaming the indigenous paradigm in Nepal and India as well. So we can see changes in households. We can see changes in, let us say, our kutumba. We can see changes in our locality. We can see changes in our religious practices. We can see changes in our social practices. The very difficult things are to bring changes in politics, to bring changes in education system, to bring changes in economic system, and so on. So even when I see, even in India, the problematic textbooks, they are still there. Okay, even after so much of, let us say, expertise in the indigenous side, even this much of mainstreaming of, let us say, indigenous ideologies and philosophies, all these things, and in a way a kind of consensus that India shall move in the civilization path. But the textbooks are already there, which will glorify the invaders. Same is the case when we see in Nepal, though it may not glorify invaders because they were not successful here. But if we see ideologically, let us say, the exogenous ideologies, they are ruling here. But very recently, even in case of Nepal, people who have pride in civilization, history, culture, our own dharma, they are coming to the forefront, including myself. So this will bring changes in various areas. When Renaissance happened in Europe, they also suffered a lot, and only common thing was they wanted to have something from their own root. Here, we shall not copy that. What is only common thing? We shall see our own root. This is the lesson. And our own root obviously goes to the Vedas. Our own root obviously goes to the Buddha. Our own root obviously goes to the Tirthankaras, yogis, acharyas, so many rishis. So from this tradition, and as I emphasize, we shall be statodynamic. We shall embrace science and technology, and with the brain from our own tradition, with the software, with the philosophy, with the culture, and having all these technologies up to AI and future technologies, we can do very good. And the reverse brain drain or brain gain is also happening, and it will accelerate with the, let us say, economic growth of India and China. It is having impact on the whole globe, and I hope Nepal also will benefit from that. And when I see a very bright future. People at least trying to know what is our root, what is our originality, why shall we take pride in our own thing, but not being very static, but with the statodynamic perspective. Thank you.
Yes, video like, comment र share गर्न नबिर्सिनु होला। फेरि यस्तै रोचक भिडियोहरू हेर्नका लागि यस च्यानललाई सब्स्क्राइब गरेर घण्टी बजाइदिनु होला।